Yeah. I'm gonna say I feel good. Yeah. Yeah. I love America. I love everybody. Ted, where you at? Yeah. Ted, where you at? Alone from night to night, you find me. Yeah. This is a man's world. Yeah. Always got a brand new bag. It's a man's world.
I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream. I'm your host, JD, and welcome. Appreciate y'all hanging out and chilling with your boy. Thank you so much for being here on this Tuesday evening. Hope you guys are doing all right. So, normally we do these Monday Night Raw reviews on a Monday, fresh off of Monday Night Raw, but, we're in the middle of the NBA playoffs right now. So, your boy's out here watching the games, and then it got too late. I was in the middle watching the Lakers out here getting swept by the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm like, can we get at least one win? But it is what it is, man. Oklahoma City Thunder doesn't seem like they can be stopped. Someone needs to go out there and stop these individuals, man. And I think what it's looking like right now, because I also watched San Antonio go up against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and right now they are up 3-2. And Oklahoma, although it looks like they might go and do a repeat, golly, we already messing up. Okay, start that over. Even though it looks like the Oklahoma City Thunder is looking like they're going to be going back to the finals to try to repeat, the San Antonio Spurs is like that one team I feel that's the only team that has a shot on beating the Thunder. They've proven that they can beat the Thunder. They've proven it multiple times earlier in the season. And so now it's time for the Spurs to lock in, take care of the Timberwolves. Now, I like the Timberwolves. I would love to see them get to the Western Conference Finals. But if the Timberwolves get to the Western Conference Finals, they face OKC, I don't know they're going to be able to take on Oklahoma City. I don't think they can do that at all. So the only team I think they even has a shot at all is the Spurs. So again, I like the Timberwolves, but unfortunately the Spurs, they have to be that team. They have to be that team to go see OKC, or else they're just going to move on to the finals and probably end up getting to the Knicks, because the Knicks look like they are absolutely getting it right now. Oh, wow. I was very surprised. It seems as though when it comes to the New York Knicks, it took like a few games going into that first round with the Atlanta Hawks, and just something clicked. And whatever that is, because I'm not watching those games over out east. The only ones I'm really paying attention to right now is the Detroit Pistons and the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Nets, they got something going, something. They unlocked the key. They figured out how to overclock that team. They are on a whole different level right now. And if you're any team, I would be afraid of the Nets right now. So, you know, is what it is there. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for hanging out and chilling. Y'all didn't come here to hear me ramble. You guys came here to kind of listen to my Monday Night Raw review, which is May 11th, 2026. So I'm kind of mixing it up a little bit. I took as many notes as I could. I was not going to just kind of go back and reverse and try to jot everything down. It's a lot of information. And it just seemed like, you know, so much you end up missing the entire thing and not being able to be present, not be in the moment and get everything wrote down. But I absolutely made sure that I recorded everything when it came to the Jacob Fatu acknowledgement ceremony for Roman Reigns. So without further ado, let's get down to the good, the bad, and the what the hell, right? So starting with the good, we gotta start with Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu, at the very end, the main event segment, he, you know, gets dropped off by a rental vehicle. He's making his way towards the ring. Jay Uso is trying to convince him, don't do this. Don't go through with this. Jacob just said, forget all of that. He's going to handle his business. And that is exactly what he ended up doing. Absolutely a crazy spot towards the end, if you can't tell. Jacob Fatu literally handled the Bloodline like they were just last week's garbage, man. Like, seriously. Jacob literally ran at them like he was playing Wii Sports and he was the bowling ball. And he ran and charged at him and created all this chaos towards the end. So you have to give him credit where credit is due. I sure as hell did not get myself a water. That is crazy. So I'm going to have to make do with what I got. So is what it is there. Dang, I completely forgot to get my water. Not a big deal. We're definitely going to get through this because this voice is going to get very funky towards the end. But yeah, man, Jacob definitely did what he needed to do. And it just, now the question is, what's next for Jacob? What's next for Roman Reigns? As we know, when it comes to Roman Reigns, we are going to see him throughout the entire summer, minus 1 week in July. There's a lot of chatter. There's a lot of people talking about there was a lot of mix up. You know, people were saying, oh, we're not going to see Roman Reigns all summer, when he said we were going to see Roman all summer. And then we saw the dates that apparently he was going to miss all of June. And then we see directly from WWE that he's going to be there for the majority of June. So it appears as though we are going to see his ass all summer. And that's cool. You know, I can't complain about that. Every week of Roman Reigns is cool. I find it interesting that he's, you know, doing what he's saying he's going to do. And, you know, we're going to hold him to it. And so far, he has shown up every week, although, you know, it's not wrestling or anything. He doesn't wrestle on the regular weekly shows. I mean, that's beneath Roman Reigns. You have to remember that. That's Roman Reigns we're talking about.
I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
And so, yeah, man, like, he doesn't wrestle on these shows, but it is what it is. It's always good to see him. He adds more to the shows, especially if you give him like a segment or 2 or 3. He just has a way of doing that. So shout outs to Roman Reigns, although he got absolutely destroyed yesterday. The other thing that we want to talk about, the good, is Asuka. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's good, but it's not bad. And mainly because we're not gonna be seeing Asuka for the foreseeable future. Now, we don't know how long she's going to be out for. Michael Cole essentially said that she is out indefinitely for the time being, and we don't know what's happening with her. But as y'all know, Asuka and Io Sky had a banger of a match this past Saturday at Backlash. Stole the show. like I said they were gonna do. Like, not only did they needed to do that, they absolutely did that. And very, very, very pleased with their performance. You have to give them credit. But on Monday, she essentially met up with Io, and essentially it was just a closing segment, and she just walks out the arena, and she just disappears. She's gone. Other good thing about it was Io Sky versus Sol Ruka. That was a pretty good match. It got enough time to breathe. You saw a lot of good offense from both stars. The ending was pretty interesting, and although it seemed like there might have been a little bit of a hiccup, there was a super quick recovery. You wouldn't even notice, and it was actually a really good finish with Io Sky actually getting the win against Sol Ruka in her very first match, which I found that was interesting. But I also was like, you know what? Maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing, and we'll break that down later on in the show. Now, that was the good stuff. What's the bad stuff? Starting with Joe Hendry. What the hell is going on with Joe Hendry? I don't know, man. It just seems as though they're not really utilizing him to his full potential right now. They're just utilizing him for his ability to play the guitar and, you know, meme Logan Paul, fire Logan Paul. Like, it's already getting old. It's 3 weeks in, and I'm kind of over that. Let's see if we can expand the horizon for Joe Hendry. When you say his name, he appears, and we need to start believing in Joe Hendry. And right now, I don't believe in Joe Hendry. But, you know, it's only 3 weeks in since his debut, and we'll just have to see what happens. Let it cook. But it appears he is twisted in the vision vortex, as a lot of people end up being in, and we'll see what happens. We got to talk about Raquel Rodriguez taking a shot at Paige during their promo. When the women's tag team champions showed up, you have Rebella, you have Paige, you go in there, and they're like, hey, we're here at Monday Night Raw. We were called out by the Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. It's about time you showed up. Why don't you bring yourselves out here and let's have a conversation? Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And when they were starting to go back and forth, Raquel just said something that really just irked me in ways like, really? Why are we digging up the past? Why are we bringing this up? Why so soon? It's like, she's only been back. Paige has only been back for about a month, and we're already opening up the closet of just funky things that happened. And if you know, you know. I'm not going to get into those details. I'm sure a lot of you already know what happened with Paige back in the day in the early 2010s. We're not going to go deep into it, but it is what it is. But I'm like, damn, why did y'all bring that up? Really? Like, she already got popped in the head with the microphone by Nia Jax. This is literally the Friday prior. Come over to Monday, and then she's catching strays from Raquel Rodriguez. It's like, why are we doing this? And you know Triple H is in the back. He's literally sitting there while Jacob was beating the crap out of Jay with his invisible headbutts. But it was what you know, like, he obviously approved that. It's like, damn, did y'all really, like, was she okay with that? Was she aware that Raquel Rodriguez was going to say what she said? We'll talk about more of that later on. Next, Logan Paul's dig about firing people is absolutely tasteless. So obviously, you know, with the whole Joe Hendry Fire Logan Paul song, you got the crowd getting into it, which actually, I didn't even write that in. The crowd, absolute doo-doo garbage trash yesterday. Trash. How do you go from having a awesome, like, loud, energetic crowd like what we had in Tampa, Florida? 2 days prior, we go to Knoxville, Tennessee. And last time I checked, I thought that was a wrestling state. I thought that was a wrestling city. I don't know what the hell happened. Maybe they weren't feeling Monday Night Raw, so they had no reason to celebrate and get loud. Or maybe something in the back, they didn't tune the sound or whatever. But man, Knoxville, where you at? I didn't see you. I didn't hear you. And it was very unfortunate. It really took a toll on the show overall. Just the energy wasn't there. You got a couple chants, but overall it was not popping at all in Knoxville. I don't know what's happening out there, but I hope y'all get it together. The next time Raw comes out there, man, we're going to have to hear you. Please, We need to hear Knoxville, Tennessee, that wrestling state, that wrestling city. We need to hear y'all, because I don't know what the hell that was yesterday. Anyways, Logan Paul, he's having this interview backstage with Austin Theory and Jackie Redmond. And like, she's just saying, hey, what's your reaction? And Logan Paul reacts to Jackie as if she's annoying him. And it's like, unless you want to get fired too, I'm unfireable. You can't touch me. But hey, you, on the other hand, your ass might be grass later on. So again, it's just tasteless, just because we all know what happened just a few weeks ago. They laid off or released 24 superstars. And that doesn't include the New Day, who just walked because they weren't willing to take a pay cut. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely just tone deaf, and they have doubled down every week. So it's just very unfortunate that they keep doing that. It's like, read the room, folks. Maybe we should switch that up. Maybe we shouldn't be talking about firing people right now. It's kind of a funky time after what y'all did. So moving on from that, another bad thing, Finn is still in the Judgment Day vortex. So not only do you have Joe Hendry in the Judgment Day vortex, you have Finn Balor, who's still beefing with JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio. He's trying to seek revenge. He's trying to destroy the Judgment Day. But it's like, man, I thought we closed the lid on this at WrestleMania. I thought we closed the lid on this Monday after WrestleMania, when you beat not only Dominic Mysterio at Mania as the Demon, but we beat JD McDonough just the Monday after that. And for some strange reason, this is continuing. Yeah, I just let this go and move on, my guy. And I know it's not him. Vince doing what he has been given. This is the stack of cards he has. He's got to make the best of the situation. So that falls on your boy, Paul Levesque. I don't know what's happening, man. I don't get it, but please, can we please just move the track over? I don't want to see any more Finn Balor beefing with the Judgment Day anymore. I'm just over it. Please. Next, Oba Femi's Open Challenge. It is already toe up. Long story short, this man, Oba Femi, he's hot fire. Every time you say his name, the crowd goes crazy. Everybody's chanting Oba. They're strutting their stuff. They're hovering and stuff like that. We had our Open Challenge last week against not Akira Tozawa, but Otis from Alpha Academy, which it did what it needed to do. But then the next week, not even a week after, let the Open Challenge begin, you have Adam Pearce come out and he's like, we got a problem, sir. And it's like, what do you mean we got a problem? And they end up canceling Oba Femi's Open Challenge because no one in the back had the courage to face this man. It's like, we already doing this? Really? Week 2? We're only 2 weeks in. There were people chattering on social media talking about, please give this a chance. Everybody's tied up. I'm sorry. Cody Rhodes is not tied up. Last time I checked, he came to Raw. He went to CM Punk. He said, man, damn bees the brakes, bro. And then told CM Punk, this say when. I'm easy to find, but hard to beat. I don't like that catchphrase, by the way. It's just, this sounds cheesy. I know Cody can do better than that. And that's probably just some crap that they gave him. So it is what it is. But you see what I'm saying? He's not feuding with anybody last time I checked. But Oba Femi, they're already running out of ideas for this man. 2 weeks in. People are like, give it a chance, let it breathe. It's like, we let it breathe for a week. And apparently the writers in the back don't know what to do. We'll talk more about what ended up happening during the canceled Oba Femi Open Challenge during the show. So there isn't anything that was like, what the hell is going on? But the show was kind of like, it was just okay. It wasn't like, oh my God, it was awesome. That last segment with Jacob Fatu and You know, the Bloodline completely getting destroyed was pretty cool. That was a good spot. Dominic Mysterio versus the original El Grande Americano was fairly decent. There were some crazy spots that happened there, which ties into the Ludwig El Grande Americano. And dude, I still can't keep track of the names of Bravo and Rayo. That's on the Ludwig side. And then on the Chad side, you have Bruto and something else. And I'm like, bro, I don't get it. I just don't understand it. But all that, we got more stuff going, and we're going to keep getting it popping. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much again for hanging out and chilling with me. We got a lot more to go. And we'll just kind of recap the show. But before we do that, if you are enjoying this hanging out and chilling with your boy, you enjoy someone that's sitting here talking about the show, consider hitting that like button. Consider subscribing. We're still trying to get to 2,000. And you know, I know we can probably hit that by the end of the year. You know, I'm literally trying to restart the channel, and that's very hard to do when you've been literally sitting around for years not doing anything. YouTube algorithms like, well, like, are you okay down there? Like, it's gonna take some work to get the channel back up to where it needs to be, and that starts with y'all. So if you enjoy this stuff, hit that like button. I think there's some hype stuff. I don't know if that's even a thing for my channel, but consider doing those things. Leave a comment down below. If you watched Monday Night Raw, what were your thoughts? What caught your eye? What was the one thing that you were like, damn, that was freaking awesome? And what was one thing that was like, what the hell was that? Let me know in the comment section down below. We did make a video. We entered the snort text yesterday. And that was actually pretty fun. It's a 25-minute video. Actually turned a 7-minute clip into a 25-minute video. I'm so sorry about that. But I tried to shorten it as much as I could, and I added a couple things into it to kind of add more context to what I was talking about in regards to a certain individual out there who likes to panhandle. This individual has a PhD in panhandling, if you know what I'm saying, okay? And again, we don't necessarily go after anybody, but this individual right here, I'm sorry, we gotta clear out the nonsense that happens in content creation. And if that means there's another detractor in the building, so be it, man. So freaking be it. What else is on my mind? I can't think about anything. Let me take a sip of this. Sparkling water, man. That LaCroix. I need to save this. I'm gonna need it for the rest of the show. All right, so without further ado, folks, let's get started. So Monday Night Raw, it starts, and it is in Knoxville, Tennessee. I don't know what's happening with my screen. Please close that. Here we go. Uh-oh, I done messed it up. Oh, God. Uh-oh. Boy, oh, boy. Who's going to have a problem? All right, let me full screen this. There we go. All right, so we are in Knoxville, Tennessee. They're recapping Backlash. And in the video, here's another thing. We might have to do a little bit of a rant here. Let's talk about this for just a second, shall we? Let's talk about this. So last week, there is a lot of news coming out that WWE had hired a third-party company to go after content creators and WWE content reactors by striking their channels, by removing their content. Some channels disappeared like poof, gone. Yeah, some channels just didn't make it, and they're gone forever. So, people were up in arms. They were concerned. They're freaking out because, oh my God, I react to their stuff. They're coming after me. Not everyone was affected. There are some folks who do things a certain way where it's fair use. You can't attack those folks. You can't get rid of their content based on how they do it. Here's a perfect example. What I do, I don't even show you videos. I don't share any audio. I don't do any of that because your boy, mama ain't raised no fool, okay? We have seen what any of these massive, huge companies will do if they don't like the stuff you're saying. But again, if you're doing things the right way, they can't come after you. So it is what it is, folks. So some folks, they're not affected. There are some folks that they might got hit with a strike or two. There are some folks, their channels completely gone vamoosed by. But what is crazy about all of this is that during this recap for Backlash on Monday Night Raw, you saw a few small little clips of content creators reacting to the things that happened at Backlash. So not only is WWE hiring a third party to take people's content away, to take their livelihoods away, to strike them down, but they are brazen enough to continue to use content creator footage in their content, which they are within their right to do. I'm not going to sit here and say they can't do that. It's their stuff. They are the originators. If you're going to react to their content, they have 100%, they can do whatever they want. Like if they see what I'm doing right here, which I bet they won't, they could use my stuff if they wanted to, and I can't do nothing about it. I won't get any credit for it. People be like, who the hell is that? You'll never know. If they want to strike it down, like they can do whatever they want. This stuff's copyrighted. They own the rights. They can do whatever they want. But like, they're not gonna take just this, me talking in the void. But if I took a clip or a soundbite or a music video or entrance video, they could strike me down and I would be RIP. So I just found it funny that they're continuing to use content creator content, but in the same breath, strike people down like that. That's crazy to me, but it is what it is. The ones that are really doing well, they're not going to really talk to you about that because they will dare not be critical of WWE, because then I can't get press conference. I can't get early access to video games. I can't get front row seats for free or anything. I don't know what they get, but the special treatment is because they play the game a certain way. So it is what it is, okay? I keep saying that. I got to get that out of my freaking vocabulary too. So come with due time. We'll adjust, we'll adapt, and we will work on the vocabulary. So back to normal programming, folks. Sorry for the rant. Back to normal programming. Now, they are advertising an acknowledgement ceremony between Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns. Right after that, you see Roman Reigns pull up in a rental vehicle. He comes out of it and he meets up with Adam Pearce. Adam meets up with him. He's telling him, yo, bro, we don't feel comfortable with Jacob Fatu being here after all the stuff he did this past Saturday. After the match went, he lost the match. He went incensed and went crazy, started taking everybody out. I don't want him here at Monday Night Raw. Roman Reigns is like, first off, hold the phone, sir. First off, where is my championship? And now I'm sitting here like, what are you talking about where your championship is? Don't you have it on you don't you take it everywhere that you go, sir? So I was kind of confused by that. Most of the time, in fact, this is probably the first time I've ever seen a WWE champion come out of a vehicle without his championship, ask the general manager where his title is, and then he has one of his tech guys give him the title and hand it to him. I've never seen that shit before. So I was kind of confused by that. I'm like, why doesn't he have his title? He should have it everywhere that he goes. Should be representing the brand. Unless he doesn't see that the WWE World Heavyweight title is relevant. Because you gotta remember, Roman Reigns is on the island of relevancy, right? But if he's trying to, devalue the championship, I mean, that's one way of doing it, by not taking it with you everywhere you go. And the fact it's just sitting there at Monday Night Raw and someone has to, he has to demand it from somebody to hand it to him. It's like, damn, are you embarrassed of this championship, sir? You don't deem this title to be relevant enough that you would dare go in public with it, or just have it with you when you're going to the events? I just found that kind of interesting. I don't know if anyone else like just thought critically about that. I'm like, I don't understand that. Anyways, Roman asked Adam, who is the individual that brought Jacob to the WWE? Adam Pearce says, Roman, you did. Roman Reigns says, he brought Jacob here. I'm going to take him out. And then Roman Reigns heads over to his locker. And then we move into the ring. The Vision does come out first, because we have this 6-man tag between the Vision and Street Profits and Joe Hendry. Also, it's another factor is that they had Jillian Garcia take over for Alicia Keys last night. Not exactly sure why that is. Probably need to take it all off. Take a personal day. Do what you got to do. Ain't nobody mad at you. Handle your business. Let's see where we at here. Here we go. So yeah, promo. Paul Heyman has the microphone. He says that as we should start the show on a high note, he welcomes Knoxville while making fun of them, calling them incels, I think. I didn't write it all down, but I did my best, okay? Paul says what they appreciate is pure, raw talent. And that was demonstrated this past Saturday by Braun Breaker. Paul asked who is not ready now. And the answer is Seth freaking Rollins. On Saturday, Seth was not ready for the physical onslaught of Braun Breaker. We all know that Seth is not ready to beat any member of the Vision for that matter. Paul says, let's forget about Seth. Let's expunge him. Let's just forget about this man. And that he should no longer be, there should be no reason why they should even say his name. Now, let's talk about the tag team champions. Austin Theory has the mic, and then he says, born. See, yeah, the auto. God dang it. See, sometimes I got to go through the whole entire thing. Anyways, Austin says that since Braun is back, we have a 6-man tag team match tonight. Austin says that the Street Profits are getting in their business and that the Profits want a shot at the tag team titles. We were very aware of that. He corrects himself and says that the Street Profits needs the tag team titles because Bianca isn't around to pay the bills at the crib anymore. Now on to Joe Hendry, and he calls him a nerd. Then at that point, they get interrupted by the Street Profits. They make their way into the ring. Montez Ford has the microphone. He says that Austin Theory, he's right. He is out there working because Bianca is no longer able to help pay the bills. But since she's busy with the baby, somebody has to come over here to Monday Night Raw to whoop their asses all over Knoxville. Montez Ford says ain't nothing changed because the Street Profits are up and they want the smoke. From there, Logan Paul takes the microphone. Logan says everyone knows the Profits are a legendary tag team, but Knoxville is going to find out that they are old news. Logan says the only thing that Montez Ford is good at right now is planning for the baby shower. From there, Logan asked Montez what's in the cup. His balls? Which didn't really land. The crowd did not react. But again, the crowd wasn't very good at all. They were not paying attention. I don't know what they were doing, but they were not paying attention. But also this didn't land, so it's all good. Logan says Bianca is better than Montez and he wants to smoke. Logan says bring it because he's tired of all the talking. Logan says anytime, any place, says that Braun and Austin Theory were born ready, and asks guess who's ready before they were even born? Logan himself. From that point, then you start hearing Logan interrupt, not Logan, but you hear Joe Hendry interrupt Logan Paul by singing the Fire Logan Paul song. He was over by the announce table right next to Michael Cole and Corey Graves. He's singing the song and the crowd's going crazy. Then they get loud. They wake up now. They're like, oh yeah, Paul, can we fire Logan Paul? Then we go to break. We don't even hear the bell ring because the match started during the ad break. Ain't that funny? That's crazy. I don't think I remember last time a match started in the middle of an ad break. But hey, it's WWE. It's TKO. You know how it goes. Money. Yeah. All right. So, anyways, we come back from break. Angelo Dawkins and Austin Theory are in the ring. Dawkins hits a standing enziguri. Theory kicks out at 2. From there, Austin Theory tags in Logan Paul. Logan Paul misses a splash running towards the corner at the turnbuckle. Angelo Dawkins then tags in Montez Ford, where Montez Ford hits a drop kick from a tag team. You know, he whips and then he hits with a drop kick. Braun Breaker then tags himself in and hits Montez Ford with a running super clothesline. He goes back and forth across the ropes, and then he hits him with a pretty decent super clothesline. Braun Breaker then hits a snap suplex. He pins Montez Ford, but he breaks his own pin. He's essentially taunting Montez Ford. It's like, bro, are you serious? Logan Paul ends up tagging in. From there, Braun Breaker goes with a military press, and then Logan Paul responds with an uppercut. So they did a tag team move where Braun Breaker lifts Montez Ford. He drops Montez Ford, and then Logan Paul responds with a uppercut. From there, Montez Ford kicks out at 2. Logan Paul responds with a clothesline. Pins again. Montez Ford kicks out at 2. Logan Paul has Montez Ford in a chin lock to slow things down. Montez Ford ends up breaking the hold. But then, let's see, Logan Paul cheap shots Angelo Dawkins, so it keeps him from trying to pin to tag into the match. Logan Paul misses another splash at the turnbuckle. And from there, Joe Hendry tags in. He hits Logan Paul with a fall-away slam. Then he does his taunt where he turns around. He's facing the crowd. He's going to turn around as the camera zooms in on him. From there, Austin Theory goes for a crossbody to interfere, but Logan Paul is also striking Joe Hendry. From there, Braun Breaker tags in, and then he responds with a reversed German suplex. Then from there we go to break. From there we return from break. Logan Paul goes for a suplex, but Joe Hendry reverses it with one of his own. Joe Hendry then tags in Montez Ford. Let's see. From there, he goes up to the top of the turnbuckle, and then he hits with a cross body. Montez Ford then responds with a clothesline to Austin Theory. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins work to get Braun Breaker out of the ring. You see that Braun Breaker's on the apron, and then he gets him out the ring. From there, Montez Ford hits a running somersault from the top rope. Montez Ford reverses a rolling move into a power slam, which looked pretty decent. From there, Austin Theory kicks out at 2. From there, Angelo Dawkins tags in. He gets Austin Theory ready for their tag team finisher, where he gets him up on the electric chair, but Logan Paul interferes to stop the finisher and gets Montez Ford down onto the top rope. From there, Angelo Dawkins pops Logan Paul to the floor. Joe Hendry misses Logan Paul into the steel steps, so Joe Hendry is charging at Logan Paul on the floor. Instead of actually tackling Logan Paul, he actually hits the steel steps. Braun Breaker goes for his running spear, so he's out on the floor and he's ready to spear Montez Ford. And as he's running towards him at full speed, here comes Seth Rollins. He comes out from out of nowhere and he stops it with a super kick. Now, people are saying that the referee may have seen this, but did absolutely nothing. There was no disqualification. The match continued to go from there. From there, Angelo Dawkins actually rolls up Austin Theory as he was distracted by what happened on the floor from Seth Rollins. He pins Austin Theory, 1, 2, 3, and the Street Profits, Joe Hendry, beat the Vision. After the match takes place, Seth Rollins is shaking the hands of Angelo Dawkins, but while this is happening, Braun Breaker rushes into the ring and he's running for a spear, but Seth Rollins gets out the way and Angelo Dawkins ends up eating the spear. From there, Seth Rollins is beating up on Braun Breaker to get him out of the ring. Once he clears the ring, he's trying to help Angelo Dawkins, but now you see Montez Ford, he runs into the ring and he's like, what the hell is this? What's happening? Why is it that my homie Angelo Dawkins is laid out? Seth Rollins, what's going on? And so you see Montez Ford and Seth Rollins, they're beefing it out. But from there, we go backstage. Adam Pearce is talking with the OG Americanos. This is Chad Americano. And then his partners, which is Bruto and I forget the other one. I'm sorry, I can't get it. And then with Bruto, his mask is either too small or it's too big. It almost seems as though they're trying to get masks from Spirit Halloween. It just looks really bad. I don't even understand why they're even wearing masks in the first place. But also the masks they are wearing, they don't look good, man. They don't look good. They don't fit them right, and they look kind of goofy. They really do. Almost like WWE is going massive with the cost cutting. They're like, if you want some costumes, go take your ass to Spirit Halloween and get your ass a mask. We're not paying for it. That's coming out of your own dime. So yeah, it shows. While Jackie Whitman's having a conversation with Chad Americano, he was just talking about what's happening. We're gonna talk about that match between him and Ludwig Americano. And as this is happening, then the Judgment Day shows up. You have Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio just interfere and stop Chad Americano while he's trying to talk. And essentially, I'm paraphrasing at this point, Dom says Chad Americano is not a real luchador. At that point, Adam Pearce shows up and he's like, oh, it looks like we need to set up a match here. So it's going to be Dominic Mysterio. He's going to be defending his AAA Mega Championship against Chad Americano. So this will be the first time that the AAA Championship, to my knowledge, is being defended on Monday Night Raw. After that, Adam Pearce is making his way. He's, separating himself from the conversation. He actually meets with Los Garza. You have Angel and you have Berto from SmackDown. Los Garza, that tag team, the one out of 10 tag teams that I was able to find when we were talking about the tag teams and how barren and dead the tag team division is. Los Garza is like, damn, let's go to Monday Night Raw to see what's happening over there. So they meet up with Adam Pearce. It's like, hey, Los Garza here. We want to come over to Raw to see what's happening. We're kind of done with SmackDown. You have some opportunities for Los Garza? And Adam Pearce is like, hey, Monday Night Raw is a land opportunity. Let's have a conversation. And then we move from there. Penta's making his way to the ring. And from there, we go to break. From there, we come back from break. Penta essentially is talking about he's a fighting champion. They're recapping what happened last week between him, Ethan Page. And essentially he's calling him out, saying, hey, he's a fighting champion. Why don't you come out here, say it to my face that you want to challenge me, and we'll go from there. Ethan Page comes out. Ethan Page, and again, I'm paraphrasing. I didn't write everything down here. Ethan Page says he doesn't need a mask to let people know who he is. He represents himself proudly from Canada. He said he did end up pinning Penta last week from last week's match between that tag team match they had. But Ethan Page says that Penta is afraid to lose to him again. Penta says he's not afraid and says, let's fight right now. But Ethan Page is like, he's not in his gear. Like, you look like you're ready, but I'm not ready. I'm not in my gear. Why don't we do it somewhere like Saturday night's main event in 2 weeks? From there, Penta essentially is like, okay, let's do it. I'm down for it. But before they really lock it in, before it becomes official, here comes Rusev. Rusev comes out. Essentially, he's talking to Ethan Page and says Ethan Page is the fact that Ethan Page is getting a shot at the Intercontinental Championship, it doesn't sit right with him. Ethan Page is trying to convince Rusev that Javon Evans said that Rusev can't beat him. And he says that's a lie. That's cap. That's absolute cap. And so Javon Evans comes out. He's talking about hold up. He continues to repeat himself. Like, that's some Vince McMahon shit. It's like where people keep coming out to interfere with what the last person said. And it's like, bro, it's like, stop with that. Just do your thing. Talk about it. But anyways, Javon says that Rusev can't beat him. Ethan Page starts to, he essentially starts to scuffle by pushing Javon into Rusev to piss off Rusev. Penta and Ethan Page, they start to scuffle on the other side of the ring. They end up towards the floor. They get Rusev out on the floor, and Javon Evans has a suicide dive to the outside to Rusev. From there, we go to break. Now, from what I understand, Adam Pearce comes out in the middle of the break. He sets up a match between Javon Evans and Rusev in the middle of the break. So this went 12 minutes. There were a couple matches I did keep track of the time, but there was others I did not. Mainly because I forgot. Sorry about that. So we're still learning, folks. We are still learning as we go through this. Anyways, we come back from break. Rusev has control. He's giving shots to Javon Evans to the lower back. Rusev has Javon Evans on the ropes. Javon Evans is starting to fight back to try to, get Rusev off of him. But Rusev replies with a roundhouse dropkick. He then responds with a suplex to Javon Evans. He then picks him up. He hits him with yet another snap suplex. Rusev then has Javon Evans in. He puts him at the corner. He puts Javon Evans up to the top of the turnbuckle there. Rusev also climbs the turnbuckle, but Javon Evans is blocking the suplex he's trying to get him in. He's trying to hit him with that superplex, but Javon Evans is blocking him from doing that. From there, Javon Evans hits him with a couple headbutts to get Rusev off the turnbuckle and onto the mat. From there, Javon Evans kicks Rusev in the head to keep him off of him. From there, Javon Evans hits a corkscrew somersault. From there, Corey Graves says that the Hardy Boys, he refers to the Hardy Boys as the boys from the Carolinas. Last time I checked, I thought the Hardy Boys were TNA. So the Hardy Boys are TNA. Why is it that he's referring to the Hardy Boys as the Carolinas, the boys from the Carolinas? That didn't make any sense to me, but he hit that weird corkscrew, that one move that Jeff Hardy tends to do. Javon Evans hit it, and that's when Corey Graves is like, yeah, he reminds me of the boys from the Carolinas. I'm like, it took me a second to be like, wait a minute, he's talking about the Hardy Boys. But why not mention their names? They're like, I don't get that, but whatever, man. Raw and WWE is weird like that. Anyways, Javon Evans gets bouncy and hits a springboard Hurricanrana. From there, he drops kicks Rusev to the floor. After that, Javon Evans went for the suicide dive, but Rusev ends up blocking it. Rusev hits a fall-away slam onto the announce table. And from there, we go to break. Every time I have a break, I'm sipping on this water, man. Water is so important, man. When it comes to your voice, very, very important. Let's keep it going. We come back from break. Rusev has control yet again. Javon Evans is trying to fight back as much as he can. Rusev is asking Javon to hit him. He's like literally asking him to hit him because he thinks that Javon is weak. So Javon gets out of the way. He hits him with a super kick. From there, Javon pops Rusev in the head. He kicks to the back of the neck. From there, Javon hits a springboard cross body. Rusev kicks out at 2. Rusev grabs Javon and hits him with it in the back, in the kidneys a couple times. And then he hits him in the lower back. From there, Javon Evans responds with a kick. Javon then goes to the corner to go for his finisher, the OG cutter. But from there, Rusev counters with a Uranagi. He pins Javon Evans, but he kicks out at 2. Rusev is getting ready for his finisher, the Crush, the Accolades. But from there, Javon Evans actually rolls to his back. He starts kicking Rusev to prevent him from trying to put him into the Accolades. Javon Evans hits a springboard dropkick. From there, Javon Evans hits Rusev by going outside. So he has him onto the floor, and then he runs towards the back. He's about to jump over the ropes. He goes outside with that huge splash. He exits out and hits Rusev with that. From there, Javon Evans then rolls Rusev back into the ring. He goes back into the ring. He goes to the top corner. He does his OG cutter. He pins Rusev 1, 2, 3, and that was it. From there, we're in hour 2 of the show. At this point, they're now running a video package for the AAA Mega Championship. Since it's being defended for the first time on Monday Night Raw. So a small little fact here, only 14 wrestlers have ever held the AAA Mega Championship, but I'm not even sure if that's true. I'm gonna have to look into that because we found out some stuff about what they have been announcing for the Triple Mania. So on Saturday, if you watch my Backlash review, they had announced that Triple Mania, for the first time ever, is going to go 2 nights. One day on Friday, one day on Sunday. Where Sunday is in Mexico City, but Friday will be determined. So they don't even know where day 1 is going to be before they made this announcement. But then, a couple of days later, as we come to find out, this is not the first time ever. In fact, they've had a couple of days, or they've had a couple of years where, or they had a couple Triple Manias where it was 2 nights. In fact, they had a couple Triple Manias that were 3 days. So I'm not sure where they got this from. I'm not exactly sure why WWE is deciding to try to change history. Like, people can't look this shit up on Wikipedia or online. But I just found that strange. It's like, why are you lying? Why are you trying to like advertise it that hard? Like, Triple H sells itself. It's highly entertaining. And like, shout outs to Corey Graves and Rey Mysterio and JBL for, you know, commentating to translate in English for us. But like, I don't understand why they're going out of their way to lie about this being the first time ever is 2 days when that in fact is not the case. Very, very strange there. So like I said, even though they said that 14 people have held the championship, I don't know if I believe that. I might have to look that up as well, because if they're going to lie about Triple Mania being 2 days only for the first time when that's not true, maybe they're lying about how many people have held the championship. So we'll have to see. By the way, Rey Fenix, Penta's brother, Rey Fenix on SmackDown, you know, the one who was at the Gingerbread Men's funeral, you know, Rey Fenix, who's essentially in catering, taking L on top of L on top of L. He was a former AAA Mega Champion, but we have him in catering on SmackDown. Just, I don't understand that. Crazy stuff. Anyways, now we go backstage to Io Sky. Asuka shows up and gives Io a huge hug. They start speaking in Japanese, but then Asuka says that I was looking for someone to take over her position. And she was happy that it was Io, and she's very proud of Io. Io says that even though they fight, they will always be family. Asuka says good, and they gives her another hug. And then she just walks out. She takes her suitcase, has all her gear in there. She walks out the arena through the doors, and she just walks out. Interesting closing segment for Asuka. Now there's news that, you know, she's going back to Japan to deal with some personal stuff. I'm pretty sure we won't find out exactly why she's going back out to Japan, but from what I understand, she is taking time away so she can handle what she needs to handle. But of course, she is probably upset that, you know, she's out here cooking, and her and Io Sky has been doing this feud for 7-8 months. You forego their match at WrestleMania. You lay off, or you release one of the main points that Asuka was even feuding with Io Sky. And like I said, that match this past Saturday at Backlash was the match of the show. I highly recommend you watch the show between Asuka and Io Sky. Fantastic match. It was the best match in my opinion, and it needed to be. But then it made me more upset, because it's like, this should have absolutely been on WrestleMania. There was no reason why it shouldn't have been. And I'm sure the people in the back is like, damn, it was so good. It should have been at WrestleMania. No, you don't say. Is what it is, man. It's so disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. Triple H, you should be ashamed of yourself, man. I'm sorry, bro. Like, that's just crazy. That's nasty work. How you treat them like that. Anywho, we move on to the next segment, which is Brie, Bella, and Paige, your women's tag team champions, who have the right to be on both shows if they so choose. They are making the way to the ring, and from there, like I was mentioning, Paige will always get a bigger pop than Brie Bella, just because she hasn't been around for so long, and it just felt as though, you know, Paige left on weird terms. First, like when she initially left, she wasn't clear to wrestle, and it seemed as though WWE would not clear her. They refused to clear her to wrestle again. So they put her in a DM role or a general manager role, and it just got really cringy towards the end, and then she just disappeared. She did AEW stuff, and then she started doing, you know, she's going to these conventions and shows, she's signing stuff, but now she's finally back in WWE. And for the month that she's been back, bro, I kind of feel bad for Paige, bro. She came back, and although she has won the tag team championship on her return at WrestleMania, she's got her WrestleMania moment. Shortly after that, past Friday, she had to take a shot from Nia Jax with a microphone to the head, to the top of her skull, busted open. It's like, damn, Nia. That's a welcome back present for Paige, huh? Golly. And then on top of that, then we go into this segment. Bree and Paige are responding to the call out from the Judgment Day. They call out the Judgment Day to hit the ring so they can have a conversation, so they can talk about it. Here comes Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. They welcome the Women's Tag Team Championships to Raw, or the champions to Raw, excuse me. Roxanne is making fun of Bree and Paige, saying that they are, you guys must be having fun on this retirement tour. Roxanne calls Bree out for, setting the bar so low while she was growing up. Bree calls the Judgment Day, let's see. Oh yeah, I noticed this. The Judgment Day. So Bree accidentally called the Judgment Day the Judgment's Day with an S at the end. It's like, huh? Girl, what are you doing? What are you saying? It's not making any sense. But anyways, Bree says she's disappointed in Roxanne Perez for being held back by the Judgment Day. She's like, she should branch out and do her own thing. But she's disappointed in Roxanne because she's being held back and being held down by the Judgment Day. Raquel then takes the mic and she says that all they're waiting for is for Paige's next scandal to happen, and they should just hand the titles over to the Judgment Day right now. From there, Paige takes the first shot at Raquel Rodriguez. They scuffle, but then Liv comes out. She actually hits Paige with the Oblivion to have an advantage over the tag team champions, and then they essentially take out both Paige and Brie Bella. You then see Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez holding up the tag team championships up high, with Liv Morgan holding up her women's championship high into the sky, while Paige and Brie Bella are laid out. So I had to put a note here, and I kind of talked about it at the beginning of the show, where I'm like, man, I felt that was a low blow. What Raquel Rodriguez said to Paige about them waiting for the next scandal, I felt that was a low blow to Paige. It's like, she's only been back for a month. And not only she's already been busted open by a microphone shot, an accidental one, obviously. It's accidental, but it was just unfortunate. Then to come on Monday Night Raw and hear that, have to think about going back to that. Like, I don't know if she cleared that or not. Because you gotta remember, Triple H is out back there. And he's calling the shots. And he's telling these folks what to say. That kind of stuff. Sometimes it's improv. Sometimes it's just off the rip. But I don't think that was off the rip at all. I think that was a direct shot at Paige from stuff that happened 10 years ago. It's like, let it go, bro. It's done. It's over. Both individuals, the people involved aren't even there anymore. Like, why are we even bringing this up? That doesn't even make any sense. It's pretty tasteless in my opinion. I don't think that was okay for them to do. Like, if they're going to do that, make it worth it. And even then, I think that's a long shot. I don't even think it was worth saying that. If you know, you know. I didn't think they pulled that so soon. And then I don't recall they ever did that in AEW. Because there wouldn't be any reason for them to say anything about it in AEW when she was there as Saraya. But yeah, I just thought that was a funky promo there. I didn't like that at all. From there, we are backstage with Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso. I kind of paraphrased this because I didn't write everything down that was being said. Jimmy says that Jay is waiting outside to see Jacob Fatu when he shows up. And Roman's like, why? I want Jacob to show up. Y'all don't have to hold him back. Just let him come through. I need him to acknowledge me. Jimmy is questioning Roman's decision. He's like, bro, are you good? Like, I think you've been beating the head too much, bro. Like, why are you trying to do this? You don't have to do this. Roman says if Jacob can't acknowledge me, if he can't get any respect for me, he can't respect anybody else in the outside world. Roman says Jacob must admonish. I'm sorry, folks. Anyways, that's late, but okay. Anyways, Roman says Jacob Fatu must acknowledge him tonight, or he will take Jacob out of the WWE. From there, we move on to a video package of Dominic Mysterio showing highlights of his accomplishments and accolades as your AAA champion, mega champion. And after that, we move on to the next match, which is Io Sky versus Sol Ruka. This went for about 12.5 minutes. There's an ad break before that, and then before the bell rings, they show a video package of the NXT Origins advertisement of Rhea Ripley about where she started and how she had to change to be someone that was more representative of who she really is, and how she has accomplished a lot, and then it transitions over to Soruka's entrance as she makes her way over to the ring. It's almost as though they are trying to plant that seed of the next big star of WWE on the women's side. They're trying to make Soruka that next big individual. From there, they're recapping Soruka's contract signing with Becky Lynch getting involved last week. From there, we start the match with a tie-up. There's a lot of chain wrestling from there. Chain wrestling. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. But anyways, Michael Cole says that Asuka's future is in the air. So he was talking about what's happening with Asuka, why she disappeared in that segment. From there, Soruka face plants Io Sky. She like steps on top of Io and is like surfboarding her and just doing this thing, but she's on top of her while Io Sky is face down. From there, Io Sky responds with a drop kick. She then taunts. Io Sky hits Soruka she puts her in a chin lock. From there, there's a side headlock as Soruka's getting up. Io Sky is on the apron. Soruka actually kicks Io Sky to the floor. From there, Soruka goes for a moonsault but misses. Io Sky hits the apron, and from there hits a jumping Hurricanrana. After that happens, she gets back. Soruka now goes onto the apron, and then she hits Io Sky with a pretty cool looking springboard corkscrew move. That was pretty good. We go to break. From there, we come back from break, and then we have Soruka, who is on the turnbuckle, but Io Sky hits her with an uppercut. From there, Io Sky climbs the turnbuckle. Sky hits a Spanish fly from the top. That looked pretty good. But on the landing, it looked like Io Sky was favoring her wrist, as though she hit it pretty hard on the mat, but she was favoring it. You saw that she was holding on to her wrist, but she seemed to be okay afterwards. From there, they both are slowly rising up. They're trading blows. Io Sky with a back elbow, followed by an uppercut. Soruka hits a blue thunder-like move where she picks her up as though she's going for like a carrying move, but then she turns it into a blue thunder bomb conversion, which looked kind of weird, but good. You know, it wasn't bad. It's unique offense from Soruka, and that looks pretty good. From there, she pins Io Sky, but she kicks out at 2. Io Sky replies with a kick from the corner. Io Sky then hits a missile drop kick from the top turnbuckle. She talks as she's getting ready to do her bullet train, but she ends up missing. And then Soruka actually responds by reversing it, or actually she dodges it, and then she hits her with double knees to the back. From there, Io Sky reverses the stomp. She reverses the hits, and then she stomps her in the chest. Soruka, it kicks out at 2. From there, the crowd is chanting Io. From there, Io Sky puts Soruka in the drop zone. She's getting ready for her moonsaults. But before she can get ready for her moonsault, Soruka gets up and drops Io Sky. From there, Io Sky grabs Soruka's leg into the middle rope. From there, she misses a springboard move, but Soruka goes onto the top rope, and then she replies with a unique tornado DDT where she grabs the top rope. She goes into like this cartwheel, and then she grabs Soruka and hits her with a tornado DDT. So that's an also very unique spot as well. From there, they're both on the mat, and the crowd is chanting, "This is awesome." Io Sky then replies with a bullet train to Soruka. From there, she hits Soruka with yet another bullet train. From there, Io Sky goes up to the top rope. But from there is blocked with the legs up from Soruka. So she's going for a moonsault, but as she lands, it's blocked with the legs up. The knees up, hits Io Sky. Soruka is going for the snow slasher for the finish, but she misses. So she goes to the middle rope. She flips inward, but kind of misses. It almost looked like a botch, but it wasn't. She just wasn't in position. And Io Sky took advantage by putting her in a crucifix pin. 1, 2, 3. And Io Sky actually beats Soruka via pinfall. So although Soruka actually lost her first match on Monday Night Raw, which I actually don't think that was her first match on Monday Night Raw. She's actually kind of like stepped in every once in a while from NXT. So like she was featured as an NXT superstar at the time, wrestling on Monday Night Raw. It's not her first match, but this was her first match as a Monday Night Raw superstar, and she loses to Io Sky. But in my opinion, I don't think this was a knock on Soruka at all. It showed what she was capable of doing. She actually showed some offense I have yet to see before. And, I think she has some good things going for Soruka as she progresses her career on Monday Night Raw. I think she's got a lot going for herself. She's got the talent. She's got the finishing move. She's decent on the microphone. So just give her time and she's going to do some good work for WWE. And good luck to her for reals. From there, during the match, Michael Cole actually said that Soruka reminds him a lot of Lita, which I think he's getting close. He's getting close in terms of the look, but I think that, she has a little bit more like unique, unorthodox offense when it comes to Soruka compared to Lita. Lita was more traditional with her moves, especially she had a lot of luchador in her. Soruka is more kind of like next generation, kind of or unorthodox, like I was mentioning. So there we go. They start to recap the aftermath from Backlash's main event where Jacob Fatu loses his mind and starts just destroying Roman Reigns. He, the pop-up Samoan drop to the referee, and then, everyone getting shoved and pushed, including Adam Pearce. And then what happens is Jay's hanging out over by the parking lot, waiting for Jacob to show up. From there, Jimmy meets up with Jay. Jimmy is like, man, what do you think about this whole entire situation with Jacob? Do you really think that Jacob's going to acknowledge Roman Reigns? Jay's like, hell no, he's not going to. And then from there, Jimmy's like, I think Roman's a little delusional. He's kind of messed up. Like, I don't know what he's thinking. And I'm sitting here like, bro, why are you saying this shit out loud? You know that Roman can see what's happening. He has a TV in his locker room. He can see what's happening. So it's like, why would you say this stuff out loud? This kind of stuff you say to yourself. This is family business that you keep between you and your brother. So I'm not exactly sure why he's saying these things out loud to his brother Jimmy out in the parking lot, but it is what it is. They said Jay doesn't think Jacob will acknowledge Roman Reigns tonight, but Jay says, look, man, like Jimmy says, man, our family can be messed up sometimes. They can be very hectic, very crazy. But Jay's like, yeah, true, but we wouldn't be where we are now if it wasn't for our family. From there, Jimmy says he will roll with Roman Reigns as they do the acknowledgement ceremony. He will be by Roman's side when they go into do that segment. And from there, Jay is going to continue to wait for Jacob Fatu to show up. From there, they do a recap of John Cena's groundbreaking foundation-shaking announcement, which is the John Cena Classic, which apparently you'll have the power of the vote. Who wins? Well, not necessarily who wins or loses, but who progresses and potentially becoming the next John Cena Classic champion. We don't have all the details. We don't know if that championship's being defended or is going to be treated like the Crown Jewel Championship or the King of the Ring, where it's like a trophy that you hold on to. Not sure. We still don't have all the details about that, but it is what it is. From there, they're advertising Saturday night's main event, where Penta will defend his Intercontinental Championship against Ethan Page. So that is official. But also, they confirmed that The Vision, Austin Theory, and Logan Paul will defend their tag team championships against the Street Profits. From there, Jackie Redmond is backstage with the Street Profits, essentially checking in on them, seeing how they feel. Angelo Dawkins says they feel great. But then right after that, Seth Rollins shows up. Seth says if they're serious about getting those tag team titles, they need to have a talk. From there, Montez Ford asks Seth, didn't you say stay out of your way and you'll stay out of our way? What was all that out there earlier tonight? Seth says, yeah, he did say that, but he was wrong. He didn't mean to say that. The prophet says, look, man, we understand who you are. We hear the chatter. We see what's happening. We know that you're a revolutionary. We know that you're a visionary. But we also know that you can't be trusted. And so from there, Montez Ford says that the prophet doesn't need his ass. And then from there, he walks away. Angelo Dawkins looks at Seth for a little bit, for about, 2 or 3 seconds. It's like, and then he also walks away from Seth Rollins. From there, we go into another backstage segment. So Ruka's in the back favoring her defeat from Io Sky. Io Sky approaches her and says, "Hey, Soruka, you are the future, and one day we will fight again." So as Io Sky walks away, Becky Lynch then shows up on the other side of Soruka. She starts making fun of Soruka for losing to Io Janetti, because remember, she called Io Sky Io Janetti a couple weeks ago. Says that the lights are too bright for her. She starts laughing and then she walks away. From there, we go into the next segment, which is the Oba Femi Open Challenge. Oba Femi makes his way to the ring. He's marching himself in. Who's going to be facing Oba Femi tonight? Now, in my mind, I'm like, okay, maybe Akira Tozawa found the courage to do what it takes to go face Oba Femi. But no, it wasn't Oba Femi. No, it wasn't. Oh, no, Oba Femi. Of course, it's Oba Femi. What the hell? Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Anyways, it's not Akira Tozawa. It's not Otis. So we're not running it back. In fact, it's nobody, because Adam Pearce comes out and says, "Hey, man, so about your Oba Femi Open Challenge, everyone in the back, they didn't want to challenge you, sir. So I'm unfortunately have to announce that the Oba Femi Challenge has been canceled." Oba Femi's like, "What? Are you kidding me? This has to be some kind of joke, right?" Nope. No one had the courage to challenge, so no one's coming out to go and face him. So we're 2 weeks in to this Oba Femi Open Challenge. And this is the spin. The next segment is, "We don't have anybody for you, sir." It's like, really? And I think, honestly, this is some kind of spin. But it's not a good impression. Right? It's like, we're only 2 weeks in. Now, if this was like a month in, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But we're having this conversation because it's already just 2 weeks into this Open Challenge, and we already are out of ideas. So Oba Femi's like, "Oh, this is some nonsense." So he rushes out the ring. He's marching back towards the backstage. He's going into Gorilla. He said, "Everyone back there are cowards." From there, he finds Los Garza, Berto, and Angel chilling a little bit after past the Gorilla, just hanging out with a couple ladies. And so he starts beating up on Angel and Berto backstage, and then he's manhandling both Berto and Angel. He's grabbing them both. He's carrying one of them while grabbing the other, and he is forcing them to go back out into the ring. He throws them both inside the ring. The bell rings. We have this Oba Femi Open Challenge. It's essentially a handicap match. From there, and I'm not even looking at this because I remember everything that happened. It was only like 48 seconds. It wasn't very long. Oba Femi takes Angel Garza. My God. Oba takes Angel. He lifts him up and throws him over across the mat. Berto's right there, and he's like in the crosshairs, but he misses. So he drops down so he doesn't like collide with Angel. But then Berto gets grabbed by Oba Femi, and then he lifts him and throws him across the mat. Now, before all of that happened, they're both in there, and Oba Femi is just charging both corners. He's running at both corners at full speed, hits him with this crushing shoulder blocks. He's going back and forth a few times. Then he tosses them one by one. He hits Berto with the fall from grace. 1, 2, 3, and that was it. I don't think it was a minute long. So yes, folks, not only are they out of ideas, they don't know what they're going to do with this Open Challenge, because they announced that the Oba Femi Open Challenge will continue next week. Not only do they do that, they run out of ideas for him, but they also bury Los Garza in the process. They were already getting buried by Royce Keys on SmackDown. They're not having tag team matches as a tag team. You know, the 10 tag teams that we had discussed a few weeks ago that they have on these rosters. And guys, I just talked about this. They only have 3 tag teams on SmackDown. Now, Los Garza's on Raw. So now you have like 6 or 7 tag teams on Raw, and now only 2 actual tag teams on SmackDown. Help me understand how that makes sense. Insane, bro. I don't understand it. Why are they destroying the tag team division? They don't give a rip about it, man. They have 2 tag team championships on each respective brands, and they are not giving a shit about these tag team division. They don't care, man. It's crazy. Absolutely insane what they're doing. I'm not sure if we're gonna see any more of the Lost Garza either, because there were some posts that they put on X shortly after Monday Night Raw took place, essentially saying, "Hey, thanks for riding with us." I don't know what that means, but it's so unfortunate, bro. It really is. How this burying the tag team division? It's a complete joke currently. Let's see. Now they show another video package of the original Americano, Chad Americano. We now start the match between Dirty Dom and Chad Americano for the AAA Mega Championship. I didn't keep track of the time because I forgot to stop the clock. It's like, I'm not going back. I'm cool. I'm done. From there, Dom is actually getting ready to head to the ring to make his entrance. But before that happens, JD's right beside him. And here comes Finn Balor. He grabs JD McDonough. He throws him over to the crates that are on the side to take out JD. He looks at Dominic Mysterio, like, "Oh man, looks like you're gonna have to defend the championship all on your own, huh?" And then Dominic Mysterio is like, "Bro, I gotta go and defend some gold, man. I gotta defend some gold." And so then he makes his way to the ring. Let's see here. All right. From there, we started up. El Grande Americano makes his way to the ring. They start to tie up. They do chain wrestling. From there, El Grande Americano is focusing on the left arm of Dominic Mysterio. El Grande Americano and Dom are now on the apron. El Grande Americano starts charging at Dominic while Dominic is on the he's on his back on the apron, and then Dom actually lifts his legs up to launch El Grande Americano to the top of the turnbuckle post, and El Grande hits his head on the top of the post, and then he hits the floor. I actually thought that was a pretty wild and great spot there. From there, we go to break. We come back from break. They are trading blows. Dominic misses the 619. El Grande Americano hits the angle slam. Right after that, he hits a moonsault. Dominic Mysterio kicks out at 2. Dom rolls El Grande Americano, but he actually reverses. Oh, no. Dominic's going for a roll. El Grande Americano actually hits some pin, but Dom actually reverses that pin. Dom actually hits him with a top turnbuckle arm drag. He pins him, and El Grande Americano kicks out at 2. Dom goes for the... What the hell? See, I messed up. I'm going to keep going. He's going for a somersault, but he misses this. El Grande Americano hits a dragon suplex pin. Dominic Mysterio kicks out at 2. El Grande Americano goes back to the top rope. At that point, Rayo and Bravo get involved. They interfere, but they're just distracting at this point. They're not causing an issue at that much. But from there, Dom actually gets involved and hits El Grande Americano with a tornado DDT. He pins, but El Grande Americano kicks out at 2. From there, El Grande Americano's partners start coming out. I'm not going to say their names. I don't know what they are, man. But from there, Ludwig El Grande Americano, or I'm just calling him Ludwig Americano, he comes out. He headbutts Chad Americano. Dominic tries to pin, but he kicks out at 2. From there again, Ludwig Americano continues to distract. So while Chad Americano is distracted, Dom hits the 619 right across the midsection of El Grande Americano. He then goes up to the turnbuckle. He hits him with a frog splash. He pins Chad Americano 1, 2, 3, and that was it. Dominic wins and retains his AAA Mega Championship. I keep getting it all mixed up. I apologize, folks. We're gonna get better as we continue to do this. I think one of the things I need to do is I'm just gonna have to just scrub through all my notes and just make sure that I spell everything right, because a lot of the reason why I miss things or misword things is because I'm then seeing things that are misspelled, and I'm trying to just make sure it's right as I'm speaking into the mic. It's like, man, this shit ain't right. But after that, they do advertisement for next week, the card for Monday Night Raw for next week so far. The women's tag team championships between Brie and Paige. They will defend their championship against the Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez, and Roxanne Perez. And then, of course, they talked about the Oba Femi Open Challenge. It is rescheduled, and they're going to try again, even though they had nobody this week. Okay. The Vision is backstage. Jackie Redmond catches up to them and essentially is asking for a reaction. Logan Paul says that he wishes that she goes away unless she wants him to seek her firement, or unless she wants her to get fired too. Which again, it's just tone deaf. I don't understand when they keep mentioning firing people or threatening to fire people, bro. Like, tone deaf. Logan Paul says that if he has to listen to Joe Henry's song one more time, he's gonna have to go Vincent Van Gogh himself. And then she's speaking with Austin Theory. He essentially ignores her, goes into the vehicle, and they move out so they can have a steak dinner. Now, apparently, Maxine Dupree is in this vehicle with the Vision. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out. Not sure how that's going to affect her being a member of Alpha Academy. But we don't really have any definite things happening right now. She hasn't really said anything. We see her mixing it up with Austin Theory. And now she's in this vehicle with the Vision. So we'll have to see what happens. Now, here is the main event segment, because they don't have main event matches anymore on Monday Night Raw. Apparently, and I don't know how true this is, but I wouldn't doubt it. Apparently, it has been 13 weeks and they have not had a main event match on Monday Night Raw. It's just always been these segments and promos and scuffles and these beatdowns, but no actual matches on the show, especially during the main event segments. All right, so Roman Reigns makes his way to the ring along with Jimmy Uso. He asks Knoxville to acknowledge him. From there, Jacob pulls up. He exits the vehicle that he's being driven in. He catches up to Jay, and Jay's following Jacob Fatu as he's walking through backstage, going to Gorilla before he goes out to the ring. And Jay essentially saying he's pleading with Jacob not to go out there to go through with this. Jay wants to holler at Jacob. He keeps calling for Jacob while he's walking with Jacob to try to get him to think clearly. Jay tells Jacob that if he goes out there to do this, he's going to create a bunch of problems, not only for himself, but for his family. Jay tells Jacob that he needs to be smart about this. He's pleading Jacob not to do this. At that point, they get to Gorilla. Jay stops Jacob and asks him to listen to him. He asks Jacob to please be smart. From there, Jacob actually headbutts Jay and Gorilla. Jay hits the floor. He headbutts him 3 more times. And then he's about to make his way to the ring. Now, before he does this, he says, "What you think? You want me to come out here and acknowledge you? Huh, Roman? Hell no. You're going to have to beat the acknowledgement out of me." From there, he goes to the curtain. His music hits. He's making his way out the ring. He's out in front of the Titantron. As he's walking on the ramp, he is met by Jimmy Uso by the stage ramp. Jimmy asks him not to go through with this, and Jacob, he responds. While Jimmy looks away for a second, Jacob grabs him. He hits Jacob with a right uppercut. Then he whips Jimmy to one side of the barricade, whips him to the other side of the barricade. That takes Jimmy out of the equation. From there, Jacob is making his way to Roman Reigns slowly. He's slowly walking his way to the ring. While this is happening, Roman's looking at Jacob, and he takes his championship. He tosses it to the side on one hand. He has the microphone, and he tosses that as well. Because at this point, Roman's like, "Look, man, there's no point in talking. It's time for them walking." So essentially, they're going to start fighting this out. There's just no point in talking, and they get into it. From there, Jacob gets onto the apron. They start staring each other down. Raymond blinks at Roman, almost like it's like a visual cue to get inside the ring. And at that point, they start fighting. They start trading blows. Roman takes Jacob to the corner. Roman takes Jacob to the other corner. But before he could do that, Jacob counters, putting Roman into the counter instead, to the corner. God damn. He slams Roman's head to the top turnbuckle to stun Reigns. He runs to the ropes and hits Roman with a big shoulder tackle. It looked pretty powerful. It was forceful. Roman gets up to his feet and he's leaning towards the ropes. Jacob then hits the ropes again and clotheslines Roman onto the floor. Jacob then hits the ropes to go for a suicide dive, but Roman actually counters that with a Superman punch from the floor. Roman Reigns stands thinking about what to do next. He's just kind of looking around. He's looking at the apron. He's looking at the table. He's like, man, what do I do next? He goes under the apron and he grabs a steel chair. From there, Roman brings the chair into the ring while Jacob's laid out. Roman hits Jacob with the steel chair across his back. From there, Jacob heads to the mat. Roman tells Jacob to acknowledge him. So every time he hits Jacob with a chair, he says, acknowledge me. You didn't hear him the first time because they had the microphone not cut on at this point. Jacob gets back up to his feet and leans towards the ropes. Roman hits him to the back again for a second time. Jacob falls down to the mat. Roman Reigns yells at Jacob to acknowledge him. He hits Jacob with the chair for a third time, tells Jacob to acknowledge him or his ass is out of here. Hits again with the chair for a fourth time. Tells Jacob, acknowledge me. You understand me? He hits Jacob with the chair for a fifth time while he continues to ask Jacob to acknowledge him. He stands on top of Jacob and stabs him with the chair 4 times. So Jacob is on his back and then Roman is standing on top of him. And instead of holding it like this, he's holding it like he's gonna, thrust downward on the chair onto Jacob's chest. He does this 4 times. Roman then throws the chair out of the ring. Roman goes to the corner. He's getting ready for his spear, but Jacob then counters with a super kick on Roman. Roman is leaning on the ropes. Jacob is getting ready to apply the tongue and death grip and applies it onto Roman. While it's applied, he now shoves Roman over the top rope and onto the floor. Jacob hits the ropes and hits a suicide dive to Roman onto the barricade. Jacob's feeling himself with a crazy look in his eye. As they zoom in on him, you can see he's just looking crazy. He's looking at his hand. He's like, man, I got some power. He then picks up Roman and says, acknowledge you, acknowledge this. And so at that point, he whips Roman into the cell post. Jacob says, acknowledge what? While Roman is trying to recover and he's trying to get back up, Roman is screaming, y'all didn't call me. Y'all left me and my family broke. Then kicks Roman in the back of the head. At this point, the crowd is chanting, we want tables. Jacob picks up Roman and whips him into the steel steps. After that, Jacob clears the announce table. After he clears the table, Roman gets up and then hits Jacob with a Superman punch. Roman is favoring his stomach as he's trying to recover, try to catch his breath after the tongue and death grip was applied the first time. Roman loads up to get ready for yet another Superman punch, but Jacob counters by applying the tongue and death grip on Roman. It's applied and Roman is starting to fade. Jacob headbutts Roman 4 times, then powerbombs Roman into the announce table. At this point, the table shatters. Roman is just laid out to the floor. The crowd is chanting Fatu. After this, the producers, the writers, the referees, and Adam Pearce, they're coming out to try to break all of this up. At this point, he shoves someone. I don't know who he shoved. I believe it may have been Jimmy or Jay. I'm not exactly sure who he was shoving, but he shoves that individual out of the way, and then he applies the death grip onto Roman while he's on the floor. It's applied, and Adam and crew is trying to grab Jacob and to try to break the hold. From here, Roman is trying to get up to his feet, but the hold is still applied. Roman is starting to fade again. He drops back down to the floor. Adam Pearce is holding on to Jacob, telling him that's enough. He's yelling this multiple times. That's enough. Jacob then pounces back onto Roman and he applies the death grip yet again. Adam Pearce and team are trying to break the hold, and they're even grabbing Jacob's hair. Like, they're really trying their best to try to break this hold that he has on Roman. Jacob rises up, and in the process, he actually shoves Adam Pearce out of the way, and he starts to fall down to the floor by the announce table area. From there, Jacob rolls into the ring. He grabs the World Heavyweight Championship. He licks the bottom half of the title as he's obsessed to becoming the next World Heavyweight Championship. At that point, he raises the championship high into the sky while the credits rolling. And you see, you know, the copyright 2026. After that, Jacob rolls out of the ring. He starts to make his way backstage. While this is happening, one of the referees is following behind him. He's kind of beside him, but then he's behind him at the same time. He looks at the ref, who doesn't want the smoke. He then rushes back towards the ring. He runs around the ring. He's charging at Roman, Jimmy, and Jay as they're all together trying to help each other to get back up. And then Jacob rolls. He rolls into the barricade, taking out all three of them in a crazy spot. He's essentially runs into him like a bowling ball, knocking down all three pins. He hits a spare, essentially, just tearing everything up. And as you see the aftermath behind me. At that point, the crowd is chanting Fatu. I actually think the crowd was chanting holy shit, but I think they were suppressing the chant from the crowd. So that's why I was like, I don't know if the audio text were just suppressing what the crowd was chanting throughout the night, but the crowd just didn't sound good at all through the television like it normally did. Like when you compare Tampa Bay Backlash crowd compared to Knoxville, Tennessee. When you compare Tampa, Florida's crowd to Knoxville, Tennessee's crowd, it is night and day. I'm like, what the hell is going on with this crowd? Are they awake? Are they paying attention to what's going on here? I almost felt like they were just muting the crowd. I don't know why, but that's what it felt like. But anyways, that was it. That was the end of the show. And that was your Raw review for May 11th, 2026. We went through it all, man. All right. So what do y'all think? I thought it was just okay. It definitely wasn't as good as the Go Home show from last week, but there was some movement in story, especially with Jacob and Roman Reigns. That's going to continue. There are some other things that start to develop with the tag team championships for both the women and the men for Raw. You have your Intercontinental Championship that's going to be defended at Saturday night's main event. Oba Femi's challenge is looking already stale 2 weeks in. I don't know what they're doing with that, bro. But we were already like, man, you're better off just not featuring him every week, because now you're oversaturating Oba Femi. I don't want him to be overdone. You know, he's done so much work. He retired Brock Lesnar, right? So we shouldn't be overexerting him or essentially shoving Oba Femi down our throats to a point where you don't even have any idea for him going into the second week of the Open Challenge. This was exactly what a lot of folks, including myself, feared. Some people were like, just let it breathe. It's like, we let it breathe for 2 weeks and we're here already. And they have no idea what they're doing with the Open Challenge. So we'll see what happens next week. Very curious as to how they handle that. I feel bad for the Los Garzas. They're out here just getting bodied by Royce Keys and Oba Femi. They're not in tag team matches, even though they're a tag team. The tag team division is just dead. Raquel Rodriguez saying what she said about Paige, about the scandal, that was pretty tasteless. The fact that they're still tone deaf, talking about fire Logan Paul, and then Logan Paul talking about he's unfireable, but Jackie Redmond wants to get fired, he can work on that. Tasteless. tone deaf. I don't understand it. So it is what it is, folks. So without further ado, we're just gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up. I want to thank you so much for hanging out and chilling with your boy JD on this Tuesday. Normally we do it on the same day, but we just got so much going on. I'm watching basketball too on top of this. Luckily, the Lakers and the Thunder, they were at 7:30 while Raw was at 5. Raw is typically 2.5 hours, so that literally was like, it was perfect. From Raw, it ended, the game started, that was like 2.5, 3 hours. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make my thumbnails. And what else did I do? I thought I did a good job with this, but apparently I didn't. So it's still a learning progress. I gotta find ways to just simplify it to where it makes sense and I'm not making so many mistakes. And y'all saw those mistakes live. You know, there's only one cut, one shot, one take. That's why we do this live. It kind of challenges me to make sure that I'm on top of my game, and we're missing some stuff. We're making some mistakes, but that's okay. The only way you get better is by doing it as many times as you can and just try to fine tune it and get better. That's what I'm here to do. So if y'all appreciate that, man, first off, thank you. Appreciate y'all hanging out and chilling with your boy. If you watch this entire thing, thank you first and foremost, because I know it's a grind to be doing these things, man. Not only to be doing this live, but to, you know, to find ways to keep people's attention to watch the shows. You know, that's not an easy feat. But if you can find a way to do that, you're going in the right direction. So we're just gonna keep it positive. And again, ladies and gentlemen, we have entered the snort text, and that's actually doing pretty well. We cracked over 100 views on there, and not only did we crack over 100 views, we're actually retaining views, like the duration, how long people are actually watching that particular video. I believe that's probably the longest retention I've had in any of my videos, which I'm happy with. I'm very happy with that. But that's a different format, that's a different approach, as y'all know. And if that's gonna be the way, then that's got to be the way. We're going for 2,000 subscribers. We're trying to get partnered back on YouTube again. And, you know, we keep doing this because I enjoy doing this. And as we continue to do it, we continue to grow and get better. That's all you can do, and that's all you can ask for. So thank you so much for hanging out with your boy JD on this Tuesday evening. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and sign out. Peace out, folks. See you next time.